We are live on HQ Spotlight here on CBS Sports Network, and we're with the Broncos today. Sean Payton trying to work his magic on Russell Wilson, who had the worst year of his career in his first year in Denver. Just 5 wins last season, but they're expected to bounce back. Win total set at 8.5. Question is, can they be a playoff team? Let's go out now to the Denver area. Pete Prisco at Broncos camp with a former Broncos Super Bowl winner, Ryan Harris. Pete is standing on a box, even though it looks like he needs to stand on another. Have you ever had to do a shot next to someone more than a foot taller than you, Pete?
Yes, I have, and it's okay. I can handle it. I'm a short guy. I'm standing on a box. There, tell the world.
Step off the box for a second. Let's just see what it looks like.
No.
Pete, step off the box.
Let's try it. Lean in.
Lean in.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not stepping off the box. I'm not stepping off the box.
Tell Pete what to do. Hey, Pete, you've been really critical of Russell Wilson. Some fans would say it goes all the way back to his early days in Seattle, but I'm just talking last season. You were wondering if his career might be over. Is there reason to believe, based on what you've seen, what you've heard there, that Sean Payton is going to resurrect his career?
Well, if he doesn't resurrect his career, nobody will. I'll be honest with you. I think Sean Payton's one of the great offensive play callers in this league. I think he's one of the best offensive minds in this league. And look, in talking to him about Russell Wilson, talking to other people about Russell Wilson, he seems to be better off this year. One thing that Sean Payton told us, he lost weight. Remember, he looked a little heavy last year. Wasn't the same guy. Couldn't move. And when Russell Wilson can't move as well as he did, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and he talked about, too, Russell Wilson said he's getting back to being himself. So that tells me, Pete, that he's getting back into the rhythm and making the throws he expects to make. Could be that weight loss, could be getting Javonte Williams at running back. Jerry Jeudy's kind of stepping out as the #1 receiver. So a lot of good things are happening here in Denver.
Yeah, Ryan, what's the sense there in that area? Because you live there, you played for that franchise last year, all the hype that this could be a Super Bowl team, and they fell flat on their faces. What's the talk around that area going into this season?
They're going to do the work. That's the big thing that Coach Payton has talked about. It's not just the words. You got to do the work. And they've done it out here at practice, allowing the offense to develop, throwing in unique plays that accentuate the run game, something that Sean Payton really wants to get to this year. And then defensively, they've got a stout defense that has tried to win every practice with Pat Surtain as well as Zach Allen coming in free agency. So a lot of work's being done, a lot of focus on the detail, and not as much focus on the outside noise.
Mentioned Pat Surtain. There was a poll of NFL executives, players, coaches, and Pat Surtain came up #1 on that list for cornerbacks in the NFL. Pete, would you put him #1?
Well, he's in the conversation. I think it's a close group up there with Jalen Ramsey. If he's healthy, he's not healthy right now. Jair Alexander and Sauce Gardner. I think those are the guys that are all in the conversation. We actually asked Patrick Surtain if he is the best corner in the NFL, and he wouldn't quite go that far. He likes to say he's in the conversation. He might strive to that and get to that point now, but he wouldn't say it right away. I even asked him if he's the best Surtain corner in the family, and he said not yet he's not. His dad was a darn good corner way back in the day.
Yeah.
Pete, you like your guys with fire in the belly. You don't like a modest, do you? Are you okay with him kind of backing off that a little bit? It seems like every other cornerback in the league would say, yeah, it's me. I'm him.
Yeah, I want my corner saying I'm him, but that's not who he is. I mean, he was coached by his dad his entire life. Then he was coached by Nick Saban. I mean, that's going to make you humble. His dad put a lot of pressure on him, so I think that's the kind of kid he is. I think deep down, if we put him on the lie detector and we said, are you the best corner in the NFL, he'd get the right answer, and we get the right answer as well.
And he gave you a smile, too, Pete. He kind of smiled before he answered, so I think, Chris, he was trying to be modest instead of telling the truth.
Where would you put him, Ryan?
Oh, he's right up there, #1 for me, no question. I saw his rookie year. He baited a veteran quarterback into throwing an end zone interception by cutting off the back right corner. That's something only elite corners understand. Pete, you know that. You don't have to cover the entire end zone. Champ Bailey always said, I never cover where they can't catch it. Patrick Surtain's been doing that since he got to the NFL.
When Denver has been good, their pass rush has been great. That was not the case last season, Pete. They were bottom 3rd, bottom 4th in the NFL. What do you expect for the pass rush based on what you've seen in camp so far?
Well, I think when you go out, Frank Clark, they did that for a reason. Browning went down. That was a problem. But here's the other thing to keep an eye on. young players. Jonathan Cooper, Nick Benito, two guys that have really flashed in this camp that have shown some ability to rush the passer. Nick Benito's taken a big step forward. I think those are two guys to keep an eye on. But again, the veterans have to be a part of it. The problem with Frank Clark, he has a practice every day out here, and during the regular season, Frank Clark has a tendency to disappear. That's why he's so good in the postseason. He plays in the postseason. The question is, can he do it in the regular season?
Yeah, and also, can he be a leader? But I've talked to some of the players on the team, Pete and Chris, and they've said all those defensive linemen, they really go to Frank Clark and Randy Gregory, learn from them how to do the little things, parts of their craft they need to learn, add to their game. And then you got to remember, Frank Clark, third in NFL history in postseason sacks. So not only does he know how to get to the quarterback, but he knows what it takes to win playoff games, something this franchise badly wants to do.
Going into last season, we were all wondering, could this be the greatest division of all time with the Broncos and Raiders and Chargers and, of course, the Chiefs? We don't have those kind of expectations this season. After Denver finished in last, the Raiders weren't much better. How do you see this season stacking up in the division, Ryan?
I see the Broncos going 11-6, being a wild card team, but Kansas City owns this division. And to be the man, you got to beat the man, like Ric Flair said. So until that happens, Kansas City's still number one in the AFC West to me.
Can you tell who played for the Broncos? Can you tell who does the Broncos games in the preseason? I mean, come on. Ryan, 11 wins?
11 wins, baby. It's going to be a tough stretch. They got the Vikings and the Bills back-to-back after the bye, but I think they can get it done. They open with the Las Vegas Raiders, and then they got the Commanders. That's 2-0, right?
They're the third team in the division, and I think they're really well behind the first two. The depth is going to be a problem for this team. The frontline guys are okay. Depth is a problem. And then there's the magic question. Can Russell Wilson become Russell Wilson again? We have no idea. If Sean Payton doesn't do it, do they go to Jarrett Stidham at some point during the season? That'll be something to watch.
Pete just sent us a text as he was answering. He wants us to pull up the schedule, Ryan, and he wants you to point out where they get the 11 wins from. We know you got them at 2-0. Then what?
They got their first loss at Week 6 against the Chiefs, okay? They're going to win Week 8 against the Chiefs and beat the Packers. They're going to lose one of those two games to the Bills and the Vikings there on the top right. I mean, come on, Browns, Texans. You talking about the Chargers? You talking about the team that lost a 23-point lead in the playoffs? Okay, Pete, go ahead. I'll give you one game there. Lions, get out of here. Patriots still don't have Tom Brady. You're getting another one from the Chargers.
Remember back in the day, they called the defense the Orange Crush? Yeah. Inside there's orange mush. I can tell you that right now. Inside that head is orange mush. You're out of your mind.
He's real, man.
It is. Whoa, I didn't mean that.
I think going through it, Ryan now has him at 14-3 by the sounds of it, the Broncos.
It's unbelievable.